Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Courtney-Ann and today we're going to make Jamaican brown stew chicken. So I just have some mixed parts here and I'm gonna be chopping them up into smaller pieces. Not too small, maybe like medium pieces. As you can see, I just cut some of them in half. And of course, it's Caribbean culture. We do wash our meat. Most persons use vinegar. Other persons use lime or lemon. I use both. Sometimes it doesn't really matter. So I'm just gonna wash these off and rinse them under fresh water. Now that I've washed my meat, I'm gonna chop up some fresh seasonings and herbs that I got from my local market. And I just wanted to show you guys two of these limes that I picked off my tree today because they're just so super huge and I was really surprised at their size. Now guys, we're gonna be chopping up the onions. We're gonna be chopping up the sweet pepper. I usually cut them up into small pieces, not too big because I want them to cook out while I'm cooking my food. And then I'm gonna finely chop some Scotch bonnet pepper. You do not want to cut this too big because if your guests or your family member bites into this, it's gonna be problems. Next, I'm gonna add my fresh seasonings to my mixed parts. As you can see, I left a little bit of the water in there because I'm trying to create somewhat of a marinade. I added a stalk of thyme. I'm gonna add my Maggie Chicken flavored seasoning. So this is different from the all-purpose season up. And I'm just gonna slightly coat my chicken in this. After that, I'm gonna go in with some black pepper. You guys know my black pepper is always unlabeled. Don't watch that, just know that it is black pepper. Once I'm done with my black pepper, I'm gonna go in with a bit of garlic powder. Really loving using garlic powder these days. I think it gives the food a nice flavor and it's also good for you. Of course, it's a national ingredient on this channel worldwide, parsley. And the key to making brown stew chicken is using your browning sauce. Some persons use it to bake. A lot of Caribbean persons use it to brown their meat. Now, if you really want to go old school, some persons prefer to burn their sugar and add their meat to the burnt sugar in the pot instead of using browning. I particularly don't really like the taste, although I have heard that browning is actually the byproduct of burnt sugar. But when you burn it directly on your own, sometimes it can be a bit bitter. This is what the meat is looking like when I'm done seasoning. Of course, you have to clean your workstation and then we can begin cooking. Although you see this in the next clip, I did let my chicken soak for 45 minutes to almost an hour. And then I took it out the fridge and I added it to a medium-sized skillet. As you can see, I don't have a lot of oil in the pot, simply because chicken tends to produce its own fat. So you really don't need too much oil. The aim here is to just get all of the sides to fry and brown properly. Now you want to keep moving around your meats because you don't want them to stick to your pot. I refuse to add any more oil because I really don't like oily foods. But if you're not willing to go through this process and constantly move around your chicken, you can go ahead and add some extra oil and maybe drain it off once you're finished frying all the sides. So this is what one side should look like. I'm going to hold it up so you can see. It's not necessarily to get it all the way cooked through. It's really just to give your chicken some texture before you stew it. Of course, with brown stew chicken, some persons skip this step completely. However, I prefer it this way. I like my chicken to have a bit of firmness around the edges. That's just what I like, but you really don't have to do this step. You can skip straight to the stewing part of it all. So remember the bowl that you seasoned your chicken with your natural seasonings. You want to add like 2 to 3 cups of water and pour that on your chicken. I never ever discard of this. It really saves you from cutting up additional seasonings. I added about an inch of ginger grated finely, as you can see. And here I just added a Scotch bonnet and then I'm allowing my chicken to cook down, covered on medium going to low heat. Please monitor your Scotch bonnet pepper. As I've told you guys before, make sure it is whole and not open or else you're gonna have a really spicy dish. Here I'm just adding a cube of my chicken flavored seasoning, also from Maggie, but a different type. I don't remember the pronunciation, but I will definitely link it in the description box below. And I'm gonna just crumble it into my chicken. Make sure that it is mixed out properly. Do not leave it clumped up like that or else you may bite into it when you're actually having the dish. So once you're done with that, just ensure that your liquid levels are just above or equal to the chicken, make sure your pot is not drying out. Once you realize that your chicken is cooked through, now it's time to season your pot, because remember, you did add a lot of liquid, so it's gonna be most likely fresh. So I added some garlic powder, some onion powder as well, not too much. And then after that, I believe I went in with some ketchup, and I just combined all of this together. I did add some parsley as well. I really love what parsley does for my dish. It's not a strong herb, but it really gives it the flavor that it needs. Okay guys, so after about 30 minutes of cooking down on low heat covered, I'm gonna add 1 tin of Grace green beans, and this is what is going to finish my dish. By the way guys, if you love this video, drop a like, don't forget to join the family and subscribe. Let me know if you're gonna try this recipe, and if you do, tag me on Instagram. I would really like to see what you guys do with this dish. Some persons prefer to use carrots, other persons use potatoes. I just felt like doing green peas today, and then I just added a tad bit more seasoning because it felt a little bit fresh to me. And then I'm just gonna let this simmer down, and then I'm gonna taste it after. In this final step, I actually went in with a little bit of the Maggie all-purpose, and yes guys, they do taste a little bit differently, so I just felt like the Maggie all-purpose was giving it that final touch that I needed, but I just couldn't put my finger on. Added a bit more black pepper. As you can see, there's lots of gravy in the pot, not a lot of oil, which is why I was stressing earlier that, you know, don't put a lot of oil when you're making stewed chicken, because you don't want a greasy gravy. You can actually see the oil separate from the gravy when you do that. I particularly don't like dishes like that. I'm confident that here, all of this gravy is not extremely oily. It's really just water, seasonings, and, you know, flavors from the chicken, which is more healthier. Okay guys, so we're almost done. I'm gonna add another stalk of thyme because the previous one is literally just branches and I had to take it out. And then I added some fresh onions, fresh escallion, a little bit of green peppers, just because I wanted to be able to bite into my fresh seasonings when I'm eating. So the previous ones, as you can see, have been cooked fully through. They've become a part of the dish, and I still want that touch of color and also a little bit of texture when I'm eating. I had this with some white rice, some ackee and saltfish, which you see on the left, and I really enjoyed this. It was so delicious, so flavorful. The chicken was soft to the bone. Thanks again for watching the video guys. Again, if you love it, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.